What's up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Undrafted Views. We're here. We talk sports from the sidelines. And today we're going to talk about two playoff teams for the 2022 NBA season that exceeded our expectations. Let's get into it.
I think I would be remiss if I didn't pick the Boston Celtics as one of my teams that exceeded my expectations. Let's think about the path that they had to take. They defeated the Brooklyn Nets, swept them, shut down KD, shook him up, right? Then they had to play the Milwaukee Bucks, beat them in a 7-game series, took it all the way 4-3, and the Miami Heat beat them as well to make it to the NBA Finals. For a team that was struggling early on in the season to turning the page and flipping the switch at the start of 2022. I mean, it was just phenomenal with a brand new coach, the way they bought in, the way they kicked up their defense. I mean, Boston Celtics really exceeded my expectations for the 2022 NBA season.
I have them too.
How could you not?
I mean, you you have to when we're talking about exceeding expectations. Um, some may say, well, why is it not the Warriors? Well, I expected the Warriors to be there. Like I expected them. So they didn't exceed the expectation. They actually met my expectations, if I'm going to be honest. But exceeding my expectations, everything you said about the Boston Celtics, I feel the same way. And then from all of that, they were able to produce Defensive Player of the Year in Marcus Smart. Like head coach, first time head coach, Coach Udoka was able to turn around the perception of the fans from the early part of the season where people were like, is he the right fit? Maybe they need to kind of move on from Coach Udoka earlier on in the season to now, like, he set the blueprint on how you should play in the NBA when we're talking about defense. So, yeah, Boston Celtics, absolutely. And for them to finally, that franchise to finally make it back to the NBA Finals, like, it's with that young core, bringing back, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Brad Stevens. That's my guy, right? You know what? But I'm saying to be head coach the previous season, move into an executive position, bring in the right coach for the team at the time, bring back Al Horford. What? Because he's aging backwards. Like it, the Boston Celtics did that for the 2022 NBA season. They made it all the way to the finals, and I'm telling you, they had a chance, a fighting chance to actually win the title. It wasn't even the Warriors had to work for it in order to beat them. So yes, of course, exceeded my expectations. Of course.
Yes. Now, who is your second team to exceed your expectations for the 2022 NBA season?
It's going to be from the West, and it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks were able to finally get out of round one. Now, granted, the Los Angeles Clippers didn't play in the playoffs this season. However, with the adjustments that they were able to do with head coach Jason Kidd, the fact that Jalen Brunson, he may not be a number A, but that B that he plays was really great. Even so, Jason Kidd was able to coach this team when Luka Doncic didn't play. Like he didn't play sometimes. And so they were still able to get wins. And I just like the fact that they were able to finally make it to the conference finals. I mean, you cannot have a prolific player like Luka Doncic and not get to the conference finals at least once during his time. Now, what I expect next season is for them to make it to the finals. But Jason Kidd and what he's been able to create, the foundation he was able to set for what the Dallas Mavericks organization and the fan base should expect is something that I just wasn't anticipating for this season. So yeah, my second team is the Dallas Mavs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I did not expect them to make it to the Western Conference Finals. I was happy with them just getting out of the first round. I was like, oh, okay. Because I did not see them defeating the Phoenix Suns. I didn't see it. It wasn't even on my radar. So when that happened and they made it to the conference finals, I said, oh, okay. I'm impressed. So they exceeded my expectations. Definitely. Also, I have a question for you. So I want to know if Ja Morant didn't get injured in game 3 and Dillon Brooks had not been ejected in game 2 and ultimately suspended for game 3, could the Grizzlies have beaten the Golden State Warriors and then ultimately the Dallas Mavericks to make it to the NBA Finals?
Beating the Golden State Warriors, Yes, I'm going to say yes. The potential of that was great. Yes. I think that part of winning games in the NBA has a lot to do with the other team. The greatness of you in your organization, you and your team, how good they are, but also what happens on the other end also plays a part in whether or not a team is successful. And I do believe that that disruption in the Memphis Grizzlies roster at the time, with John Morant being injured and Dylan Brooks,
Mhm.
not being able to play, I think it disrupted, right, their flow. They were still able to, have great games, but I can say yes to that. I believe it. Yes. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely believe it. Because the way
Yeah.
the Grizzlies were playing was so much like fury and speed and excitement. Oh, I think they could have beat the Warriors because it was crucial when Dylan went out. And when Ja was injured, I said, oh, it's done. It
Yeah.
was over, you know?
Yeah. I do believe that the Memphis Grizzlies did shake up the Warriors. I think they were shook playing them because they weren't the Grizzlies. They came out ready. They came out
Hmm.
ready, and yeah. I agree. Yes, that's a great question, and I'm gonna say yes to it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.